Hi, welcome to the Innersparx podcast. Today's guest is Diego García, also known as Twanguero. He's a Latin Grammy-winning guitarist known for his signature twang, a fusion of guitar, Spanish guitar, Latin rhythms, jazz, country, and rockabilly. In this episode, Diego shares his philosophy of performance as a real-time, unrepeatable art form, why he believes audiences should be fully present, and how he prepares physically and mentally like an athlete. We dive into his discipline and how he maintains longevity, presence, and balance on and off the stage. Let's get started by listening to his thoughts on performance and how he shares it as painting a picture and burning it. Tell me about how you've shifted your perspective of performance, or have you always thought of what you do in the way of the art and catch it on fire? Or how has as you've grown as a musician, as a performer, has that shifted your mindset, or have you always thought this way?
Well, the each season is marked by the album that you are playing at that time. No, so depending, I was doing more focusing most on the Back Rows album, which included the Costa Rica when you saw me that show. So I usually I prepare myself for the season and say no, okay, this tour is going to be this November tour is going to be a solo tour. It's going to be pretty similar of what you see. So I work on it. I I put some quantity of imagination in it, how I want to do the show. If it's a 90-minute show, if I have to talk between this song, so I prepared that as a script. I try to prepare. One of the things, because when my family, I come from a family with actors from more in the old style theater, and they were actors. So I like to prepare the full performance, what I'm going to say, but inside of it, try to be fresh, try to not sound like a script, But I prepare really well, and depending what I'm presenting, that the season I'm doing this, and maybe in the spring I'm going to do with a trio, which I have a more electric side of Twanguero, or my project is more. With percussion, upright bass, is more Latino and cumbia. It's another thing. So that performance is different. Includes three people and the lighting and blah blah blah. So depending the season, no, depending on where I'm working, but yeah, it's not something that, even if I say that it's like painting and burning it, there's a lot of preparation before that. So when it happens, the performance, when it ends, that's the end of a cycle, basically, and then starts the next performance, the next performance. So that's what I try to put it all together on season. No, in this season I am more focused on the solo guitar and the jungle album.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. I I want to get into more about how you prepare for your performance. So the idea behind this podcast, the idea behind the business that I'm running is surrounding performance, and it's surrounding performance not only in a artistic sense, but in a corporate setting as well. So I believe that everybody's a performer, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you're a lawyer, your trial would be your performance. If you're a big CEO, their big pitch meeting or end of the year report is your performance. And
Yes.
I'm curious to then learn from everybody and create crossover from what can we learn from music, from guitar, that we can bring over to sports, to this corporate performance, and what can we learn from those to bring over to you. So you as a musician, your body, I would also argue, is part of the instrument. No, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. You're the expert here, but I would be curious as to if, let's say, and we mentioned it a little bit when we were chatting in DC, but if we wake up one day super tired and we have a 2-hour show that night, how do you prepare your body to get ready for it? How do you make sure that you're fresh, make sure that you're ready? We mentioned all this travel, nutrition, everything is so important when it comes to that final moment when you step on stage to create the best piece of art that you can. How have you found yourself navigating that throughout your time as a professional musician?
Well, I mean, my daily routine, there's a routine. My daily routine includes like doing some workout that
Mhm.
I've been defining because I'm 49 years old. So at this time, I know myself really well. I know I don't. I used to bike, but I was scared if I fall and I have an accident, and because I'm a performer, so I'm limited to this and that and that. But I do my daily workout, which is kind of calisthenia, and I work on the grip a lot. I work a lot on the like hanging for a minute for two, like it's
That's impressive.
yeah, crazy
Hanging
things that I
hanging is
do.
hard.
Yeah. So for me, like working on the position, and so that's eating is another part of important, especially when you're on tour. Because when I'm home, it's okay because I'm a cook. I'm from Mediterranean, so I cook for myself, and I take care a lot of my so that those things are a really important part of the performance and of my musical, because it's a 360, it's a whole thing. Music is it's inside the whole thing, and music is a part of the day. So the first thing that I do is try to play the first 2 hours early in the morning, because I live on a boat, so the life here is pretty much early. Like the fisherman, and all these guys, 5:30. Those are the 5:30 guys. Really. So you eventually end up like at 6 a.m. I'm up. So what I do is practicing every day, and keep my balanced diet, like trying to eat well, try to eat more very local, and try to exercise every day. And of course, so that's a good base for a tour. When you, if your lifestyle is pretty much being focused, no, when you go on tour, you resist more. But still, there's a lot of things that you can do, no, like stay hydrated and try to avoid airports. What I mean is, when I fly, but then in Washington, I rent a car and I drive the whole cities by car. I try to get, because airports is like, if flying isn't a good thing for me. I hate flying, but so preparing is like, and when I'm on tour, that I have 5 shows in a row, the my priority is sleeping.
Hundred
You don't
percent.
need, it's 100% sleeping. Not even eating. You can eat, you can have good breakfast. When I'm on tour, I eat once a day. Good?
Really?
Yeah, probably because then after the show I'm empty, but I prefer to go to sleep empty, which is gives you your body more recovery, and the next day you wake up and eat well, have breakfast, and maybe so for me my priority is sleeping, I would say, when you're on tour. And the guitar is a very physical way, a thing, no, that includes not only joints and muscle, but expression and nails and things that you have to take care of. And nails, for example, it's a good source of omega-3 and salmon and avocado, and the kind of things that you have to take care of your diet, especially when you are on tour. No, a nail can be broken, but strong nail, like having strong nails, so that's part of my performance also. So that's what I say. I can say that I live the guitar and the music 360. I mean, keeping this life of touring and trying to play well every night is like being an athlete. It's like being a sportsman. Like, it's not the rock style, rock and roll lifestyle at all. Maybe if I return from touring, I open a bottle of wine that day, and celebrate more. But the 99% of my time is like being more into the natural world, like the exercising every day. Living up by the sea is cool because you have. I mean, I'm from the Mediterranean. I always had the exposure to sun every day and light. That's very important, no? So for me now, it wouldn't be good to be in an apartment in downtown LA in a cage, and I don't know which floor. No, I don't want to. So I'm a boat guy. I'm a man of the
And at the sea.
of the ocean.
Wow. And has this always been a part of your lifestyle, or have you found leaning into it more, the exercise, the diet, the sleep, as your music career has grown? Do you see a
Uh,
correlation between the two?
mm, I always was very involved with exercising all my life. But at the same time, I have to say that some of my years were darker than some others in terms of more drinking and doing stuff. So, but I have to say that, but after 30 years making in the music, I've been like 90% of the time really focused on, because I was trained in the conservatory when I was a kid. So in the conservatory, they the most important thing that teach you was discipline.
Mm.
No matter what the thing you were in, musically speaking, or in another things with the conservatory, I don't think I agree. But in that area, I really, really agree with them, with the old school guide, with the academy and things, with the, probably academies that come from 300 years ago, the Conservatory of Valencia, those kind of things that when they say something, it is, and you cannot, those institutions, no? But one good thing about those institutions, and especially the conservatory thing that I did, is that they teach you that the discipline is an enjoyable thing. It can be an enjoyable thing. The discipline is what make, and I don't want to be like moral, talk,
Yeah.
like, but discipline, build your own discipline, because I'm creating discipline around a thing that I love, which is guitar. But guitar is not like just making selfies and post in Instagram. Make guitarists sit down your ass and play for 5 hours, 6 hours. When I was a kid, 8 hours, some days 10 hours.
Wow.
When I was, not now, because my body is more, you have to leave also. But the early years, the first years when you are 17, 18, you study a lot. You like, when you're on it, when you're inside your passion. So yeah, it's good to be almost 50 and still making it, still.
Yeah, that's incredible. And tell me more about you mentioned it, living in the conservatory and learning and studying. When did you make the choice to think, okay, guitar is it? That's going to be my life. This is going to be my life. Music, the guitar. What happened, or was there like an epiphany?
It was very early, eh? It was when I was 12 years old. I went at
Wow.
12, 13. I told to my mom, and she was she was always my best supporter, and she told me, okay, you're gonna do that. You have to study. And then my dad didn't want for the next 2 years, but then after 2 years, seeing me in progress, he accepted. And so by 14, I was surfing the wave like I was going to be a guitarist.
Yep.
And for many years, about for the first years, when I wanted to be more an artist than a session player. I tried to be more. I had a band, but for I don't know, but for some reason I couldn't. Some reason no, because I really always wanted to travel, and anyone else in the band, they wouldn't stay in the same city, and my mind in the 80s was, so I couldn't get a band. So from the 15 years old to 20, I was with leading bands, local bands that were doing some good stuff in Valencia in the late 80s. But sometimes I just gave up, and I continued as a musician because I wanted to move to Madrid, which was the capital of Spain, where everything was happening at that time, and I was 20.
Ooh,
So I was a professional. I was touring from the 15 years old. I was really prepared to be what I
incredible.
wanted, or a rock star, or a session player, or whatever. So I tried, and I wasn't very impassioned. Like, I wanted everything now. So I went to Madrid, and I make a good career of 10, 12 years playing for other artists, recording, working on TV. In the early 2000s, there was a lot of private TVs. There was a lot of money, and doing a lot of recordings and soundtracks. So I did a lot of work, studio work, for until my 30s. And
And
in
then
my
that
30s, yeah, in my early 30s, I focus on being only an artist, not an artist who play with. I don't play with anybody. I just play my music, and I tour and I record my albums. They are more niche focus. I was an and after all these years, I don't. I don't mind if I am. I mean, I could be. I would like to be big and mainstream, but I don't mind if I am not on the mainstream because I tour. I have my recording catalog, back catalog, and I could still play. So, but yeah, I have the love of guitar was always with me. So independently if I was a professional or an artist, or even if I had to, I don't know, if this goes wrong and I had to fish and just have fish, whatever, I will still keep playing guitar. Because that's my passion. Waking up in the morning, sitting down here in the boat and play for a couple of hours and then starts the office day, blah blah blah. But these 2 hours for me are forever, every day.
And what does that feel like when you play for those 2 hours? What's the what's happening within your mind and your body as you're playing?
You're struggling,
Really?
basically. Yeah, not every day. Actually, most of the days you're struggling against the guitar, and from time to time it gives you a gift a
Just
day. But
struggling against the guitar.
just you're struggling. Those 2 hours is to try to burn that pain also. Like,
Yeah.
but it's the first 2 hours in the day, and maybe your mind is hearing some things that moment in the day you cannot do some. That's a usual problem. It's a usual problem for performers, for pianists and guitarists, and that your mind say you're hearing something here, but you cannot exactly reproduce it. So that's a struggle. So you need practice. And but I mean, if you get used to those 2 hours like meditation, like not forcing the machine, not going against anything, just flowing, but still without losing discipline. That's where you
Yeah.
have to struggle. Those 2 hours, they're worth it. They're really worth it, because by the weekend when you are playing in this venue, or in 2 days you have a show, if you come like with this routine for the last 2 months. I've been, for example, working all the summer, so I'm in really good shape to be now on tour and ready to, especially after the tour, ready to write some new music. But when I'm on tour, I write a lot. I can
Mm.
write. I have ideas that I record. That's what technology is is really good for now. Now that you can record everywhere. So
True.
when I'm on tour and I travel, and after the show I go to the hotel, and you are like your, I don't know, your atoms are high because you just play, and that's a really good time for writing music when I'm on tour. I would say, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the difference between this 2 hour morning practice and the performance itself. So you mentioned there are things you can do during the week, that things that you maybe wouldn't be able to do during the week that you could do then on the weekend on that performance. Is it a different type of playing? Are you practicing your pieces, or are you playing just for fun? What's the motivation behind those 2 hours of
Well,
discipline?
the performance only happens live. You cannot play your performance here in your room. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna force yourself or something. No, you just go technique. You just keep your mind. Maybe in those 2 hours, the first hour is just technique and tempo and fresh things and rapid explosions of things. That could be 1 hour. Like like no, like if you prepare yourself for running, you can do a 1 day of just drills and
Yep.
like. So maybe the first hour I do some drills and things that doesn't make any sense for the show and doesn't help at all. But it's okay, because keep my mind fresh and my I don't know what would be the word for system nervous and reaction.
Yeah, the muscle memory and
The muscle memory,
reaction.
that's moving this and keeping it fresh at the same time. So maybe the first hour I do that. In the second hour, I'm just gonna play my repertoire, the songs that I wanna play that Saturday, but I'm not gonna perform like if it was in front of 300 people. That's the you have to that's why the anxiety before the show happens, because nothing compared to being on the show. You don't prepare that. There's no way. So the only way is playing play 2 hours every day to keep your muscle ready, and of course play the songs.
So
You
you
don't
do
have
play the songs that you're going to play on the weekend.
you just play the songs, maybe you just play slower, or you don't perform the songs with passion when you're at home, because that if you want to study for 2 hours, it's just like warming up, when you're for 2 hours. When if you prepare for a marathon or running of 21, for running, you don't run 20K every day.
Yep.
You one day do, but you have to be in motion. So, but at the same time, you have to be inspired. That's what music. I mean, in
Mm,
sports, you also have to be inspired, of course. For
definitely.
competitions, you have to be definitely inspired. But in this, there's this white blank sheet in front of you where there's nothing that you have to create from nothing. So that's where our brain plays a bad trick to us. No, like we get anxious because of the stage presence. The being on stage and just project a presence is you have to do that by living and taking care of yourself. You don't practice that, but you have to be. How do you practice your stage presence? Eating well, sleeping well, doing some exercise every day, whatever it is. It's just hanging, or it's just a workout, easy 20-minute calisthenia thing that I do, or are with some weights. And I work more on strength, no, like explosive strength. That's what I really want. I don't want to run for an hour, because I mean I'm not anymore. I can walk for an hour, but I prepare well. The same with routine with performing. But the thing is that performing, you cannot rehearse it 100%. Never. Only on stage when everybody's there. So there's no chance to. I mean, there's a chance to make a wrong note. Of course, there is, but there's always a possibility of escape of that mistake. There's always,
Of course.
because
And
you're the ruler and you're the director of that happening. No.
definitely. So you don't practice any sort of visualization or this is what it's going to feel like when I get out on stage and these are the emotions I'm going to try to capture and how I want the performance to go and these are I mean and yeah, this is a very and this is where it gets interesting and I would love to hear your thoughts because the way that I approach performance from I'm a former college athlete. I ran track and field at university, and we had very set. Okay, this is our goal for the performance today. I'm gonna jump X high, or I'm gonna focus on this one specific technique during a
Okay.
competition, and bringing in systems into performance. But with art, with guitar, you mentioned you want to be inspired. So do you see any crossover with that? Because we would visualize our performance. We would visualize what it would feel like I did pole vault. So run down the runway, plant the pole, and go through the motions of the jump, and really try to tap in within our body what that would feel like flying through the air. How would my muscles contract? Where would I be in space and time to achieve the best jump that I could?
Right, right. Yes, I
You feel
visualized.
similar?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely visualize some moments and some reactions, but more than visualizing, because I've experienced them many, many times. So I know I play a lot of years. So, and now this time in my life, of course, I visualize, but I'm more practical.
Tell me more.
I'm more practical. I don't want to. I don't want to know. I don't think it's necessary to put because when you're playing in front of 500 people, just with the guitar, there's an emotion that is good, but you don't want to put that at 9 a.m. You just want to play, chill. That's what I say. Like, yes, we visualize, and I visualize at some specific uh, times of my day. I can visualize what is happening in the performance and the end of it. Yeah, of course. The imagination plays an important role, no, in this thing. But being practical is like just believe in yourself for anything and do your work. Do your homework. Believe in your. So I believe in myself, but I do those 2 hours of set list and repertoire, and then I give to lucky or to whatever the component of the performance which is happening there. Whatever it happens, let's go for it. I mean, I don't wanna know what is exact 100% what is going to happen in the performance. I want to have that uh the little doubt that makes it interesting. You know.
Definitely. And so it sounds like you have a strong foundation based on your past history with the guitar, with your level of performance and the basics, believing in that, believing in yourself, and then going with the flow with how the emotions, the guitar, where it takes you on the night. Am I correct in understanding it in that way?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think those would be the ingredients. Absolutely.
And have you then always been a person, or have you always found it easy, if you do find it easy, to let go in that moment? Because I would imagine that between 50 people, 500 people, 5,000 people, there's a different level of preparedness that goes into it and different level of pressure in order to just let go and trust in yourself, in your music, in your craft.
Well, I wouldn't say that there's much difference between a small room with 100 people is a lot of pressure, eh?
Sure.
So it's not a quantity. So I would say that uh, I never would go on stage unprepared. I would
Of
never.
course.
That's something that I learned from since I was a kid. Be prepared with everything, and that takes time and practicing and be with your instrument. So and I would never go out of my mind. Like I would never drink a glass of wine before playing. I don't want to gets me out of the concert. I can have a glass of wine celebrating with my girlfriend after the show. Okay, but
Mhm.
I would never do that. I want to be like the more focused. But if you are prepared, that's my point. Be prepared for the thing like in a daily basis that I'm for the tour that I'm gonna be doing in November. I'll be preparing this for this last 2 months, like focus on it. I had my moments when I visualize me on stage, but I let that happen only in that time, so it keeps me excited about what's going to happen. So basically, that's it for the living of a guitarist. And there's the other side of create. What is that's performance? That's more like being an athlete and a sportsman. But and then the other side, which is only abstract and creation. So you have to keep that going. Where do you get an inspiration as a musician? I think at this point of my life, I would say just by living life. The most you live, you don't want to be a nerd, like a weirdo playing guitar. I don't want to be that guy. I want to practice every day, but I want to hang. I want to meet this. I want to talk to a guy like you. Or I want to play with a percussion player. I want to be, that's that's also part of the game, no? Like being active and moving around.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you mentioned preparing for a concert, you mentioned preparing for your performance, kind of jumping back, is that then also what helps that feeling of being able to let go, so to speak, of let the performance take shape in how it does?
Yeah, for I have a theory for that, like an
Please.
easy theory to let go, which is for me, life is in one day. I would say for
Mhm.
me, my life, my ideal day could be the rest of my life. So for me, every day is like a new chapter in terms of of a spiritual life speaking. No, like for me,
Yeah.
they could be complete, describe a whole life. So the fact of let go, um, because musicians we live in the future a lot. Because I mean, you can escape. Like we are preparing. I'm talking tomorrow, Monday, with my manager about the shows in March. We're all our mind is in the future. So the best way to keep it your mind on the present is performing, is doing shows, is doing concerts. No matter what. I mean, the best way to keep be more transcendental or eternal or whatever is recording because it's gonna stay forever. But the best way to be present for a musician, to be present in your day, is performing a show. Because it includes all those present daily sacrifices, like which is not sacrifice, but that you do in order to be in shape to perform. So it's a good exercise for being present. It's like it's my yoga, it's my meditation. Playing
Yeah.
guitar it could be it can be a fantastic way of meditating, playing an instrument.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I'm so keen on this idea of letting go during a performance because in my work I found that piece is, it's not make or break, but it's a relatively big deal when it comes to this idea of, okay, if you're so rigid on this experience, this performance, like, okay, I'm going to perform this song exactly this way, and then I'm going to say what you mentioned earlier, scripted. I'm going to say exactly this, and then I'm going to
Yeah,
perform exactly this way. When things go wrong, it's harder to get back on track and remember what we're doing it for. And I'm curious
yeah,
what your thoughts are on this because, again, going back to my performance experience, we would always link it back to having fun, where we've done the hard work, we've done the practice, we've done the early mornings, those grueling 2 hours of playing maybe when you didn't
right.
want to. We've taken care of nutrition, we've taken care of sleep, taken care of movement, you've done your calisthenics. All the hard work is done. The performances should be the fun part. It should be the part where you can get up there and show the world your craft, show the world your sport, show the world your talents, your everything. So we would always tie it back to, are we having fun? Because the second it gets too serious, that's when it starts to become so
I
rigid
agree.
and so easily broken.
I agree.
It's
I
easy to
agree
break
totally.
ice, can't really break flowing water.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. The fun part is the most important. Is having fun on stage with it. That's yeah, yeah. I never suffered, but I suffered before. Those those two daily hours. Those are what make me suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And those happen more times. I would love to do more shows that practicing. Because
Really?
because I really enjoy playing live. I really enjoy playing, go on stage and play, tell my stories, and be in shape and be improving. I really enjoy. But the two practicing hours, I it's like you're struggling. But that's a good balance, man. But yeah, I agree with that. With what you say. No, the performance is to be the fun part.
And so tell me about, let's say you wake up tomorrow, you've got your 2 hours to play, and you're just like, absolutely not. I don't want to do this at all. This is the worst thing that I want to do today, XYZ. How do you just, how do you go forward? How do you either maybe, I don't know, wait until you get more inspired later in the day, or how do you just say, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit down and you just start going at it? What's your, if there is one, a secret or
Well,
techniques or tools you use to get over that initial hump?
no, there are some days that the guitar maybe doesn't accept you. There are some days,
Mm,
but you have to insist a little bit. So probably if that's not my day, which happens, it can happen. Probably that first technical and exercising hour, I'm gonna make it yes or yes. I'm gonna
mm,
make, and then the inspirational part. If I'm not inspired, because there are some mornings that are a lot of emailing from Europe and preparing the tour. I have to be on top of that. Even if, I mean, I have my team working, but you have to be on top of that. So
of course.
probably after all that storm of things that has to be done, I will live for the sunset. Okay, I will live for the sunset, and then I sit down and I play that inspirational or more emotional hour, the other side of the practicing routine. I let it. I skip it and I play later in the day. So, but I try to stick on the plan, on my plan. Like
Yeah.
if because if at some point you find it, you eventually know yourself. I can tell. I'm older than you, but I can tell you that eventually you know yourself. So now at this time of life, I know myself, and I know that with 2 hours a day, I'm good. It can be 1 hour of doing crazy thing, doesn't matter, just being moving up, but 2 hours of guitar, even if they're split up, ideally and at the beginning of the day, the first 2 hours from 6:30 to 8:30, I do my guitar work, and that's it. I've done it. And then it start like doing office and calls and things. And but if I to keep the discipline, no, I just go. But I just go to when I was a kid and I was studying with my teacher. He was an old guy already. When I was 10 years old, he was 80 or 75. I don't remember. He was very old, but he was a really good old school guitar teacher, and he was very serious. And so that's when you need that idea of discipline. No, my teacher, but these mornings that you don't want to do it, but still you still do it. For me, it's an easy thing. I still do it because as I said, it's no more than 2 hours. For me, it's like my daily workout with the guitar.
Yeah. Do you think that 2 hour time frame is your sweet spot? I mean, you mentioned you know yourself, and it's curious because again, with a lot of clients that I work with and with a lot of different people that I've talked to, it's easy in today's day and age to think of the extreme, to think of if I want to be a professional guitar player, and you did mention this earlier, like I need to play 9 hours a day. I need to practice my chords and my, is it riffs? What's the, I
And my
don't,
riffs and my
yeah.
yeah, and a lot of different things. You should keep that. Well, you need to do first all these 9 hours years, of course, many years of 9 hours a day, many years after that, but then you just have one physical set that can be, I don't know, in your case 45 minutes, or my case, depending how active you are touring. If you tour every day, you don't need to practice because you're practicing. That's so that's what I said. I would prefer to be playing every day, but because it's more than practicing, it's more. But practicing at some point it becomes just like I say 90 minutes, 2 hours of dedication, maybe split in the morning, the night, and that's all you need. You don't need more because there's no way. There's no technical. I'm not searching for a hyper technical capacity of my. No, no, no. I'm searching for music and have fun.
Yeah. I was just gonna
Have
say,
fun. Have fun
mhm,
is just do fun songs and fun stuff and do. That's what I'm searching.
mhm.
You
And do you
know.
feel like this breaking it down into this 2 hour leaves room for you to be creative and for you to continue to love what you do? Because I'd be curious as to the flip side for musicians and burnout, in the sense of if I if I feel like I'm forced to do this all the time, every single day, it could be easy for the thing that you love to turn into something that you hate. How have you found the work-life balance as a musician?
Well, you have to live. The balance has to go more to life than the other thing. If you already have it, is something that you develop a small amount of every day, but you have to leave. In especially for music, you have to leave for the guitar. You need to leave. So yeah, I mean, don't be scared of taking breaks and rest, even if it's days. Doesn't matter. If I am after a tour and I'm saturated, I stop for a week and I don't want to see anybody for a week. Or I mean, I don't be why? Because life hopefully is long. If you take care of yourself, it's statistically it could be long. And if your life is long, don't be scared of take breaks and rest days, and and I'm not giving everything up. No, before I give everything up when I am stressed or whatever, I just cut the activity for 2 3 days, just cut and focus on another thing, focus again on being on nature, go to the beach and swim and go, and make some exercise. So I'm not scared of taking breaks in order
So
to make a long career. I mean, I don't know, maybe in the sports, you have the physical advantage of the younger, it's a shorter career, maybe, and some, but in music, of course, it has an end, like everything else. No? But in music, if you take care of yourself, you can be playing by with 75 years old. You can be kicking ass with your instrument, eh?
mhm,
Definitely, if
mhm.
you're a good player. No, so in music, you have to take it more. You should. No, we don't do it. I should take it more chill. I think on the development.
I was gonna ask, are there days then that you don't play guitar, or weeks or months per se, where you have an off season, quote unquote? That-
I mean, days when I don't play guitar, those days are weird.
Yeah.
Are super weird. But I mean, the human body, it gets used to everything. So after you can get used to everything, if you stop, and I did it for in the last year many times, like stop for 2 weeks, and you get used to that. And sometimes you say, "Wow, what if I started another thing?" That's another, you know, uh, that's another dream. Like, why not wouldn't start another career, another thing? So you get used to everything. But uh, I don't think I ever made a break longer than 2 weeks or something like this. But I do them uh, often, very often, when I feel like, well, I feel like stress of it's a tour, and I got had an argument with my manager, and and everything goes wrong. Before I give up all and send to hell to everybody, I just stop and then say, okay, I'm gonna stop for a week, and then after, yeah, and that's it, and that's life. That's how it should be. Every career should be managed. So don't be scared to rest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit one of the biggest things I work on with all my clients is the saying that I tell everybody is you can only perform as well as you rest and recover. Because if you're constantly giving, eventually what are you going to give? Everything's
Yeah,
been given away. There's nothing left for you. And especially when your field is your art is so emotional. You mentioned waiting until the performance to dive in and to tap into that emotion and to give it 100%. And I think that's incredible because if you gave it 100% on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then by Saturday, Sunday, you're toast. What's the performance going to be like? So focusing on those fundamentals, focusing on the handwork, on the chords, on the finger position, as that basic, as that continuing to practice, continuing to get better, but giving
absolutely.
yourself room to save your emotional, spiritual energy for the performance is, I would argue, one of the most important things because it
Yeah,
protects you. If we all
absolutely,
can't be on 100% of the time, and it sounds
absolutely.
like you've done a really good job of finding your balance.
Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you.
Of course. Yeah, man. Wow. Well, Diego, thank you so much. I feel like we've covered so much ground. It's already been
It's
an
been an
hour.
hour. It's been 60 minutes, huh?
Yeah.
That's perfect for the duration of I like it 1 hour.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. It's thank you for calling. I'm happy to share my experience, and yeah, man, it was good to meet you there in
Yeah.
Washington D.C. That's that
I was gonna say,
show.
what shows are you doing recently, or in the next couple months that
I'm
you wanna
playing.
highlight?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Brooklyn. I'm gonna be in Portland, in Seattle, in Tucson, Arizona. I'm gonna be in Chicago,
Hmm.
Minneapolis, Philadelphia. I'm gonna be yeah, I'm gonna be everywhere. People, for someone who listen, you can check it out. Twanguero.com.
Okay.
TW Twanguero.com. you can take
Put
a
it
bite.
in the. I'll put it in the
Yeah.
in the description for us.
Description.
Because I definitely would recommend watching you play. It's a transcendent experience, I think, for anybody. Truly an incredible blessing to listen and to watch, and to be a part of that performance was awesome. It was incredible. And
Thank you, Todd.
of course, yeah, we're gonna have to have another call sometime soon, because I didn't even get to ask you a couple questions about like what motivates you and what keeps you going and what your goals are for the next couple of years. But that'll have to be a separate